Hello, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jordan, and welcome to
Telephiles.
Episode 1.
The inauguration. Basically,
yes.
This is a YouTube channel that is essentially devoted to...
Reviewing TV shows.
That would be the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that...
Basically, one thing we had seen a lot on the internet is there is a lot of different sites, a lot of very famous sites that do a lot of work with reviewing movies, but very little about television.
Yeah, so we're just kind of try something. Either we're figuring out it's either going to be episode by episode or it's going to be series by series, but we want you to let us know how you think we should do it, or we'll just see what happens. We're winging it.
Exactly. We are friends and we are roommates, and we spend a lot of the time we do hanging out together, talking about the validity of certain television shows. There's a couple we really love, both of us, and then some Jordan loves, some I love, with very little crossover.
Yeah. But today we're gonna go after review the newest episode of How I Met Your Mother, a very dear show to our hearts, and I forget what the title was called.
You know what? I don't either. Absolutely not. Because in my mind, it will be one thing and one thing always.
What?
Robin Sparkles 4, y'all.
Robin Sparkles 4.
You have been living under a rock for the past 8 seasons. It is essentially the journey of the main character, Ted Mosby, portrayed by Josh Radnor, along a series of paths with his 4 best friends in and out of relationships, told as a story looking back to his kids by Bob Saget.
Don't ask questions.
The one thing you really don't know, why did his voice change as he got older, but apparently it did. Leading up to essentially how he met their mother.
Yeah.
We're getting in near the final season. They were renewed for a 9th. That is announced that it will be the final season, so we're 20-some episodes out from this very, very long journey coming to a conclusion. As most How I Met Your Mother shows go,
kids.
There are, well, not only that, but there seem to be 2 main storylines that are interwoven very intelligently with each other. This one is the story of Barney and Robin, Ted and New Girl. Lily and Marshall have a small C story at the end, but from an arc perspective, it is interwoven between 2 main stories.
Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna get at is Lily and Marshall think that Ted's being a little obsessed with this girl. He comes out with a yellow pad and then a backup yellow pad. They take it away from him and everything. But then this girl. All right, so basically, what happens is that Barney's like, oh, you can't get that obsessed. And Robin says that she was obsessed with somebody. And
basically the story is it can happen to anyone.
It can happen to anyone. She won't say who it is unless he admits that it can happen to anyone. So instead of just, being honest, Barney decides, I'm just going to break into her apartment and read her old journals and see if I can figure out who it is.
Then gets a little obsessed,
Barney
travels to
progresses through this entire... He gets a little obsessed with finding out. We're not going to tell you who she was obsessed with, but the reason that this is called Robin Sparkles 4 is because they do this brilliant thing. They do a sort of Canadian version of VH1 behind the scenes of Robin Sparkles, and you learn her whole, from her rise to her fall. She basically turns into, from Robin Sparkles to Robin Daggers.
Robin Daggers.
Robin Daggers.
And I do love how they do that. That's another running joke, is that they have a lot of famous people in Canada, but they worship B and C list celebrities. So there's, a guy from Rush. The Alan Thicke has been going for 8 years, and it's the dad from Growing Pains, which was, a fairly popular 90s sitcom, but still, a 90s sitcom, a non-major character. And my favorite part of this episode was an introduction of a new Canadian, Dave Coulier, the brother on Full House, which, if you get the Bob Saget reference, was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, and Paul Schaefer was in it, and Alex Trebek were all. Oh, and
Alex Trebek has been a long
and then
Canadian joke as well.
Yeah, and who was it from the Bare Naked Ladies? One of the members of
one of the members of the Bare Naked Ladies, as well as the main member of Rush.
Yeah.
which it's like, again, kind of celebrities, but worshipped in Canada far more than they ever were in the United States.
And what the best part is that they still play along with this idea. Like, even you have all these great celebrities in there. All these Canadian celebrities believe that that grunge started with Robin Sparkles in 1996.
Which was a running joke back to Robin Sparkles getting popular in 1993, wearing a bedazzled jelly, basically the teenage Madonna, which, of course, the joke was that the 80s never came to Canada until about 93. So, apparently, if the 80s didn't come to Canada until 93, grunge, which is late 80s, early 90s, came in about 96. But
yeah,
basically, story on top of story, it ended up coming out that Robin was trying to get Barney to say that he would never go that far, and in search of this professed lover, which comes with a weird grunge thing, Barney ends up doing it. Robin proves her point. Sweet moment. And it happens. It gets the job done, and in a very different stylistic manner. The documentary is something that has been approached by a lot of sitcoms. Everything NBC has ever made. Most of Fox. But How I Met Your Mother had never done it in 8 years, and I think it was a little bit different, and it was a documentary that had a purpose.
Yeah.
Which I like. It was the joke. It was a real documentary that was in the TV show, rather than this weird fake documentary. Where
What's the weirdest romantic gesture you ever got?
I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
Because if there's anyone out there who can match, followed you for a year and a half, saw that you went into this building, saw there was not a fire alarm, and lit the place on fire.
In order to meet you.
Of course, to meet you. That is the grand romantic gesture that we are looking for.
Yes.
And my number is... No. I think the biggest question that I have leaving the show, there's always some sort of cliffhanger. One story usually resolves, one story really doesn't. There was a great ending to Barney Robin. Now the next question is, was this a funny story to show Ted's over-romanticism? Or is this a character that will subsist for a while? Obviously not the mother, but is this Jeanette, correct? Jeanette?
Yeah, I think
yeah, Jeanette actually going to become a recurring character, or was this just
they even
Craig Thomas and Carter Bays filling space between a really good Barney and Robin story?
Well, what I liked is that says is that every man makes one really stupid decision before you meet the love of your life.
Which is the big thing. This should be the last girl that Ted gets with.
To reiterate our question of the day, what is the biggest or craziest romantic gesture that
has ever been done for you
Yeah.
or by you? And so much more props if it's by you. I love to hear crazy stories about people hitting on people, but it's so much better if you got the balls to come out and admit that this was you.
All right.
You're going to be known by your YouTube name anyway. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Or give a video response, and we might post a few of them if you want. So.
All right.
All right.
Jonathan?
Jordan, and this was
Telephiles.